The streets of Detroit are never quiet, but in episode 9, it feels like every shadow is hiding a secret that could explode at any second. The tension is thicker than ever, and the line between friend and enemy is disappearing fast. One wrong move here doesn't just cost money or territory, it costs lives. From the very first scene, you can feel the weight of every decision, every glance, and every whispered conversation. This isn't just another episode. This is the fuse being lit before the biggest explosion of the season. The episode opens with a deceptive calm. Meech is moving through the city like a man who knows he's being watched from all sides. His crew is scattered, each person trying to protect their own piece of the game, but there's an unease in the air. The streets aren't talking as loud, but the silence says more than words ever could. Terry is deep in thought, his mind clearly racing, knowing that one misstep could ruin everything they've built. He's focused on keeping their operations stable, but it's obvious that even he can feel the ground shifting under his feet. What's interesting here is how the writers play with body language and subtle hints. Every character seems to be holding something back. Meech's measured tone when he talks to his lieutenants, Terry's quiet pauses in conversation, even the way the crew members avoid eye contact in certain moments. It's not loud drama. It's a slow build, the kind of tension that creeps up on you and doesn't let go. The audience can sense that this calm won't last long, and it makes every scene feel like it's leading to something bigger. One key moment early on shows Meech having a quiet meeting in a dimly lit back room, the air thick with cigarette smoke. It's the kind of scene where every word matters and nothing is said by accident. He's trying to gauge where everyone's loyalties stand, and you can tell he's already suspecting that not all of them are with him. At the same time, there's an undercurrent of frustration. Meech knows the business is in a dangerous spot, but he also knows that fear makes people unpredictable. And unpredictable people are dangerous. Meanwhile, Terry has his own problems brewing. He's managing the business side, making sure the money is flowing and deals are being kept, but he's also keeping a close eye on the crew's morale. He's starting to notice cracks forming, small disagreements that could turn into full-blown conflicts if they're not handled right. And in this world, a small crack can become a fatal break in an instant. Terry's way of operating is quieter than Meech's, but it's no less intense. He's a thinker, and you can see the gears turning in his head as he tries to keep the pieces together. The episode uses these early scenes to do something clever. It sets the stage for the chaos to come without rushing into it. It's like watching the wind pick up before a storm. Every conversation feels loaded with double meaning, every smile hides suspicion, and every handshake could be the one that plants a knife in someone's back later. By the end of this section, the audience knows one thing for sure: the storm isn't coming, it's already here. And it's just a matter of time before it hits full force. Asterisk, it happens faster than anyone expects. One moment, the crew is moving in quiet, careful steps, and the next, the ground drops out from under them. The betrayal doesn't come with a loud announcement, it slips in like a knife in the dark. A trusted face, someone who has been close to Meech for a long time, makes a move that changes everything. At first, it's just whispers in the alleyways, little bits of information traded for safety or power. But soon, the truth comes crashing down, and it's clear that someone inside has been feeding their enemies all along. Meech is the first to catch wind of it. A late-night phone call tips him off, a warning that a deal they thought was airtight has already been compromised. He doesn't panic, but his silence says more than shouting ever could. In that moment, you can see the weight of every choice he's made pressing down on him. He knows he's been outmaneuvered, and worse, it's by someone he thought had his back. This isn't just about losing a deal. This is about losing trust, and in their world, trust is the only thing holding the empire together. The secret that comes to light is deadly, not just because of the betrayal, but because of what it reveals. The leak isn't just passing along locations or cash movements, it's giving their rivals the upper hand in every move. Every stash spot, every safe meeting place, every shipment route is now at risk. It's like fighting a war when the enemy already knows your every step. And it's not just about business. This kind of breach puts lives in danger. Meech, Terry, and everyone connected to them now has a target on their back. Terry takes the news differently. Where Meech feels the sting of betrayal on a personal level, Terry sees it as a strategic disaster. His mind immediately starts racing through scenarios, calculating how much damage has already been done, and how they can plug the holes before the whole ship sinks. He's angry, but it's the kind of anger that simmers under the surface, turning into sharp focus. Terry's always been the one to think 3 moves ahead, but this betrayal throws all his plans into chaos. Every deal they've set up could be a trap now, and every person they meet could be the next one to turn. The tension between the brothers builds here. Meech wants to find the traitor fast and make an example out of them, sending a clear message that betrayal is met with blood. Terry, on the other hand, wants to play it smarter, use the mole to feed false information and flip the game back in their favor. Both approaches have merit, but time is against them, and every minute they hesitate, their rivals get stronger. This is where the difference in their leadership styles becomes painfully clear. As the episode unfolds, clues start to surface about who the traitor might be. It's not spelled out, but the camera lingers just a little longer on certain characters, their eyes darting, their hands shaking. The writers make sure the audience is suspicious of almost everyone, creating a paranoia that mirrors what Meech and Terry are feeling. Is it someone in the inner circle? A longtime soldier? Or is the betrayal coming from an unexpected place? Someone no one would ever suspect. By the end of this section, the secret is out, and the brothers know they're not just in a fight for control, they're in a fight to survive. The betrayal has shifted the power balance, forcing them to play a game they didn't choose. Every ally is now a possible enemy, and every decision could lead them closer to the final showdown, or to their own destruction. The streets of Detroit have always been dangerous, but now they've become a minefield, and one wrong step could be the last. When the dust from the betrayal starts to settle, Meech and Terry know they can't waste a single second. The streets are in motion, and if they don't move first, they'll be crushed under the weight of their enemies' plans. This is where Episode 9 shifts gears. No more quiet suspicion, no more waiting for answers. Every scene in this stretch feels like a chess match played with live ammunition, and each brother is making moves that could change the game entirely. Meech steps up his presence on the streets, showing up in places his enemies wouldn't expect. He starts tightening the circle, cutting off anyone whose loyalty isn't rock solid. It's not about making friends now, it's about making sure the people around him can be trusted with their lives. He pulls together a smaller, leaner crew, one that moves faster and hits harder. At the same time, he starts planting seeds for the final play, moving money, shifting product, and lining up favors that he'll need when the showdown hits. Terry, working in his quieter, more calculated way, starts reaching out to potential allies they'd never considered before. Some of these people aren't friends, and in some cases they've even been rivals in the past. But Terry knows that power in the streets comes down to leverage, and sometimes a temporary alliance with an enemy is worth more than blind loyalty from a friend. These negotiations are tense, filled with hidden threats and unspoken rules. It's not about trust, it's about mutual survival. Meanwhile, their enemies aren't standing still. With the mole still feeding them bits and pieces of information, the rival crew starts making bold plays, cutting into Meech and Terry's territory, and pushing their people to choose sides. The city starts to feel divided, and every corner store, club, or back alley could be under enemy control. The air in Detroit is charged with a kind of energy that only comes before a major collision. Everyone knows something big is coming, but no one knows exactly when it will hit. One of the most gripping sequences here is when Meech turns a seemingly casual meeting into a high-stakes power move. He sits down with someone who's been on the fence for weeks, someone who could tip the scales if they chose a side. The conversation is calm, but there's an undercurrent of danger in every word. By the end, Meech doesn't just have their cooperation, he's made it clear that choosing the other side would be a fatal mistake. This is classic Meech, part businessman, part warlord, always calculating how to win without firing a shot. Unless he has to dot at the same time, Terry manages to flip one of their enemy's lower-ranking members. It's not done through intimidation, but through logic showing them that loyalty to a sinking ship is a death sentence. This defection gives the brothers a key advantage, inside knowledge of their rivals' movements. It's a dangerous play, because if this new informant is double-crossing them, they could be walking straight into an ambush. But Terry believes the risk is worth it, especially with the finale looming. Every move they make now is layered with double meaning. A friendly handshake could be the start of an alliance or the mark of someone who's about to be taken off the board. A night at the club isn't about celebration, it's about watching who talks to who, and what messages get passed in the shadows. And the tension between Meech and Terry simmers under the surface. They're still brothers, still united in their goal, but their methods are starting to clash more and more as the pressure builds. By the end of this section, the lines have been drawn in the sand. Alliances, some expected, some shocking, are in place. The enemy is pushing harder than ever, and the mole's identity feels closer to being exposed. But the most important thing is clear. The stage is now set for the final confrontation. This isn't just business anymore. It's personal, it's dangerous, and it's coming fast. The only question is, who's going to survive long enough to see it? Asterisk, the moment everyone has been bracing for finally crashes into the story like a thunderclap. Episode 9's climax isn't a slow build, it's an eruption. All the quiet planning, all the whispered betrayals, all the power plays boil over into a night that will change the streets of Detroit forever. The air feels heavy, almost electric, as both sides move in for their biggest plays yet. No one is safe, and no one can hide. It begins with a setup that feels almost too perfect, the kind of meeting that screams trap to anyone with experience in the game. Meech and Terry arrive separately, their crews scattered in strategic positions. The location, a grimy warehouse on the edge of the city, feels like a ghost of the deals they've made in the past, a place where fortunes have been won and lives have been lost. Inside, the shadows seem to swallow everything, and the only sounds are footsteps on concrete and the occasional creak of rusted metal. As the talks begin, it's clear this is no peaceful negotiation. Voices are low, but the tension is sharp, enough to cut through steel. Meech watches every face, every movement, searching for the first sign of a double-cross. Terry keeps his eyes on the exits, already calculating how to get their people out if bullets start flying. And then, almost casually, the truth surfaces. The mole is in the room. The realization spreads like fire through the crew. Eyes lock, hands twitch toward weapons, and years of loyalty are burned away in a single breath. The reveal is brutal. The traitor doesn't even try to deny it, instead throwing fuel on the fire by justifying their actions. They talk about survival, about choosing the winning side, about how Meech and Terry have been living on borrowed time. For a moment, it seems like words might turn into gunfire right then and there. But Meech, holding on to control by the thinnest thread, signals his crew to wait. He knows this moment isn't just about revenge, it's about sending a message to everyone watching. What happens next is chaos. The warehouse erupts in gunfire, the echo of shots bouncing off the metal walls like thunder in a storm. The fight is fast, messy, and merciless. People who were allies just minutes ago are now enemies, and the thin lines between friend and foe vanish completely. The cinematography in this scene doesn't let the audience breathe. Quick cuts between muzzle flashes, close-ups of panicked faces, and the heavy thud of bodies hitting the ground. Amid the chaos, Meech zeroes in on the traitor. Their eyes meet across the room, and for a moment the noise fades into the background. This isn't just about survival, it's personal. He moves through the fight like it's second nature, every step calculated, every shot intentional. By the time he reaches the traitor, the battle around them is still raging, but for these two, it's the final move in a game that's been building all season. What happens is left just ambiguous enough to keep viewers talking, but the look on Meech's face says everything. There's no forgiveness here. Terry, meanwhile, is coordinating their escape, pulling wounded crew members to safety while making sure their enemies know they're not retreating out of fear. The brothers regroup outside, breathing hard, surrounded by the smell of gunpowder, and the sound of distant sirens. The warehouse is still standing, but the game has completely changed. They've survived the night, but the cost is high too. High to ignore. As the episode closes, we get one final haunting image. Meech and Terry standing side by side, looking out over the city. The lights of Detroit flicker in the distance, but it's clear this isn't the same city they've been fighting for. Too many lines have been crossed, too many debts have been created. The final showdown isn't just coming, it's unavoidable. The enemies they face are now fully committed. The alliances they've built are fragile, and every move they make from here on out will decide who walks away and who doesn't. The last line before the credits drops like a warning. Next time, it's all or nothing. And with that, episode 9 slams the door shut, leaving fans with their hearts racing and their minds spinning about what the finale will bring.